mother is not as strong as I would have hoped, maybe. You know, and it's easy for me now. It's easy for me here, right? Today, 2013, to stand here and second guess what was going on in the 1970s. No one discussed this. All the books at the time said that fathers didn't do this to their natural children, that it was isolated incidences. We were told by a therapist that he was cured. They cured him. I don't know what they cured him of specifically. It certainly wasn't all the rabies. So, it was homeschooling. So I woke up and I was 23 and 24. And all of a sudden I had a baby with my pimp. And and it's really hard to make that pretty, you know. It's really hard to throw some lip gloss on that. But yeah, there we were. And all of a sudden I was having a little girl and I was 6 months pregnant, and I realized, fuck me if I raise her the way I was raised, right? Like this can't be the end of it. So I took her away and tried to piece it together, you know, and we learn how to be parents by watching our parents, and what if our parents are feral? You know, then you're learning it as you go along. The first 3 years, I was shitty. I was a really shitty mom. And I've had to really fucking work at it, and that's a big part of that healing, is to be there for her in ways that I was never thought of or respected or honored, you know, to make sure that she is not raised the way I was raised. You know, this is a situation that people want to shut down as soon as you start mentioning something to them, you know. We've just started talking about rape as a society as a whole, right? This is not something new. Through every civilization back through time, men have found out, and women. But, you know, you can make your dick tickle real extra special in doing certain ways. And so as a society, we've always known that people like fucking kids. We've always known it. It's just been so overwhelming, and we weren't connected, and it's scary. It makes people uncomfortable. It's happening. And it's happening in this country. And it's happening in this country in the numbers between 400,000 and 1 million, depending on which site you're looking at. So that means between 8,000 and 22,000 underage prostitutes being worked, trafficked in each state in our country today. You know, and I realize that it is frightening, and I realize it is distasteful, right? But we are animals, right? And this is our time, and these are our babies. And we have the responsibility to stand up and act like fucking animals. And we're not leaf eaters. We are fighting, murdering, warring motherfuckers. This is our time in history. If you ever see elephants in the wild, you have the young and the weak in the middle in any time of trouble. And the healthy adult elephants stand around it and face out, and they protect the ones on the inside. This is our time. We are those elephants. We are the strong ones. And we're stronger than we've ever been. And we're in a position where we can stand up and fucking do something about this and fight. And God help us if we don't. After my separation, my ex-husband let me know, my son's father, that he had never been okay with my past. He waited, until we had a baby and were married to let me know. In our custody battle, he used my past against me in terms of out of context explanations, and the fact that from the time I was 4 until I was 12 and a half, I was being tortured and raped and beaten, lied to, manipulated. He used all of this information against me in our custody battle and brought it into the public record for the first time in 2009. And it was the biggest fear of my life that people would find out. So rather than run from it, I decided instead I'd run at it. If this was the biggest fear, then I was going to run at it, and I was going to kill it, and I was going to eat it. So we began. And a year into that work, I came out publicly to my friends. And a year after that, I went and did a massive intake, PTSD, combat level, extreme sexual trauma, blah, blah, blah. Shrinky shrinks. Or shrinky shrinks? Is it in or out? I forget. So, part of all of this is, taking the power out of it, but part of all of it is, not going to the grave and never having dealt with this. Being able to have those conversations with my mother and finally tell her what had happened, and giving my sisters the opportunity to stand up to her and say the same thing of what had happened to them. And my stepsisters have also stood up recently. So it's been an amazing journey. And had my ex-husband not gone and fucked me in the ass in custody, and the funny thing is, if you read the Sun Tzu, if you're right by the riverbank long enough, the bodies of your enemies are going to come floating by, is what that book says, and that's my Bible. So, I'm just hoping for karma. I'm just waving karma at him for that. But, it's, this is my war. I wake up every night at 4:06 and I can hear children screaming and there's no one there. And humor is the only way that I've been able to get through it and not die. So those are the stories behind it.
Don't turn away.
Hey, I'm Beka. Thanks for coming out to the show. Where's my mommies and daddies at? Give me a little love. Clap your hands if you're breathing. Woo!
Not anymore.
I'm the only single mom on the tour. It's kind of a glamour position for me. My mom's always worried I'm going to get knocked up again. You guys understand. It's a valid concern if you think about it, though, because I'm, a whore, I guess is what you'd call it around here, right? Because down in Miami, I was just considered really popular. My mother came to this country in 1950s from Stockholm, Sweden. She was Swedish Lutheran by state religion, converted to Judaism for her first shotgun marriage. My two sisters were raised Orthodox Jew. My mom's second husband, my father, was an Irish Catholic from Boston, which is, of course, a rapey redundancy. I was baptized Lutheran, but I was raised in the Baptist Church, Swedish Lutheran. Basically, that breaks it down to I'm a Swedish Lutheran Baptist Catholic Jew. For those of you not know, that means basically you're fucked up forever. Like there's nothing that's gonna pull you out of it. It's just over. Buy black, get a coffee plantation. Everything will be okay. My mom, Big Nita. She's, by the way, she's a big competitive quilter in Huntsville, Alabama. You guys may have heard of her. Kind of famous. And you guys keeping up on it's on ESPN2, the quilting aspect of it. It's just like my mom and 18 old black women in Huntsville, Alabama, chain smoking menthols and bitching. So she lives off of a diet of almond windmill cookies, black coffee with sweet and low mentholated cigarettes, and bologna, mayo, and butter sandwiches because she's trying to kill herself with guilt. My father wasn't much better. He used to take me out into the woods to camp. We went camping. But he thought I was a boy. So he'd teach me all these weird dating, camping, boy-girl things. Like if a man ever touches you, if he ever puts his hands on you, I want you to take a big pen. I want you to take a rat tail comb. I want you to shove it up into the back of his skull, and I want you to scramble his brains. I don't make a whole lot of money, so I end up having to scrub an awful lot of fucking toilets. And there was this one time, it was wicked funny, that this scary fucking porn guy almost wanted to make me a snuff film donkey cum queen in Juarez. That was not pleasurable. It's not that I got a problem with sucking a dick for money. I know how to suck a dick for money. I was raised in a trailer park. It was homeschooled. I love that it's not funny at all now. You know what's awesome is when you go have shows with your friends and then your friends sit in the back and they come up to the end and they go, wow, you know what, if I didn't know the real story, I would think that was really funny. And I do think it's funny because there's no other thing you can think about it. What's the other choice? I've tried the other choices. Yeah, my divorce and watching shows about killing my ex-husband. I'd love to say there's some cool way to say that, but really, I just hate that son of a bitch. You know what I mean? That dribbly dick fuck. I'm a World of Warcraft widow. Right? Like, it's not even cool. It's not even like, oh yeah, my fucking ex-husband's a heroin junkie rock star. You know what I mean? Like something I can fucking bragging rights about. But Sean's busy leveling up with the eyeball tentacle monster. He and the guild are meeting later. Every 28 days I get my obligatory married person fuck, which lasts 3.5 minutes, and I throw out porno shit to wrap it up so I can get back to watching TV in my room because I'm not fucking into it like marriage. And my son